and then pick the floor. And
Yeah, that's If it's probably what that car service is associated with the entire, like having an HOA. It's like it's all associative.
Brown Paint Dearest
Yeah.
So everything in that area is guaranteed
and the decisions you make today
under that
will
guy. So
impact
the
your life
car
forever.
service probably
Divorce
had
is
a
complicated.
contract
There's a lot
with
at
the
stake
building.
when considering your future. At Brown Paint Dearest and Scott.
I was like, yo, that's madness, man. You paying $2,500 a month, then you gotta pay this dude every time you want to go somewhere.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS.
But it's all for the opportunity to be successful, right?
Yeah,
is
you know, I always
responsible
say
for the
like,
content of
that's
this
the
ad.
whole thing about New York, right? It's like you will pay to live in a small little crap hole like that
has you covered.
to say
For
I
only
live in
$93,
Gramercy Park
our
or I
technician
live
will
in
clear any
Battery
drain in
Park
your
City.
home.
You know,
if it
people
can't
go to
be
the other like,
cleared,
oh
it's
man, this
free.
place is
Call for
great. How many
details.
square feet? It's like
License
2.
Yeah, 25. That's all I got. It's 25.
1-85643-S33086.
I remember I visited a girl out there in Brooklyn one time. We met online, and I went to her house and chilled for a little bit. All of a sudden, I heard like crackling going on, and out of the wall, I've never seen a real rat in real life. You know, I seen mice. You know, growing up in the country, you see mice and feel mice and whatever. And that was gross enough. But to see an actual real rat, I never went back.
Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million.
And 10.
Yes, sir.
Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/apply. That's ethos.com/apply.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese on the Radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And welcome to your Tuesday afternoon. It is Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Plenty of news, plenty of views to get to. We have an interview today speaking to a parent of a child at the Solomon Schechter Day School in West Hartford. This story is alarming. It is very similar to stories we have given before, but I think it goes with the theme of what we are seeing in our society today, and it is an overwhelming theme that we should all be concerned about, and that is this expressed, how do I put this? And I had an idea of what I was going to say, but as I'm thinking about it, there is an expressed solidarity. There's the word. An expressed solidarity that is no longer vague or hidden for criminals and criminality today. I don't understand it, why it's for some odd reason blown up. I would even go so far as to say that a lot of it, plays into the having to be contrarian to Donald Trump. That is the excuse of people's behavior as of late. Many of you like to call it Trump derangement syndrome, but it's when you see someone in your arrogance as being evil, you can behave any way you want to, even if you are going down the same road you think that evil person is going. You almost justify how cruel, evil, and malintent you may be, right? And it's always the 5-year-old excuse. Well, what about him? I always equated, I used to get in these arguments with people who were intellectually vapid, where they always blame someone else for their bad behavior. And I would go, please stop giving me the 5-year-old defense. The 5-year-old defense is you're in the kitchen and mom walks in and she catches your hand in the cookie jar with cookie dust all over your face. And your mom goes, Timmy, what are you doing taking a cookie? Put that down. And instead of putting it down, Timmy keeps pulling his hand out with the cookie. And mom goes, I told you to put that down. But Timmy keeps still reaching, still pulls out the cookie. And she goes, why are you not listening to me? And Timmy looks at mom and says, Jane took one. Well, I didn't see Jane take one, but you're taking one now. Put it back. That is the defense. It's a childish defense, but that's what people do. I'm going to commit the crime now. Because in my view, that person is committing a crime too. So instead of me being better, instead of me resting on my laurels, I'm going to do the same thing, if not worse. I'm caught, and I am going to further advance my position by and defending it by saying the other person did it too. Now, let's say it's true. Let's say it's a fact, okay? Donald Trump is a reprobate. Donald Trump is a cruel, king-like, vicious, Satan-like villain. To read an article that says more people are joining Satanist cults in the era of Trump, as if to say you're joining Satan because of Trump, because we're supposed to then look at you and saying, boy, he had no other choice. That Trump is so evil, that guy joined the devil. And I will hear these idiots make that argument to me all day. They do. They make it every single day. But Trump, but Trump, but Trump. And that's what we're seeing today. You see, look, I don't care who it is or where it is. Listen to the things that these people defend. Now, Abrego Garcia has all but gone away. He's no longer useful to the left. Notice that? Where are the stories, folks? Anyone? 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 No. Abrego Garcia, where's the headlines? Nowhere. Nowhere. New headline. Who's the new headline? Judge Hannah Dugan of Milwaukee. Now she's the one that every news media outlet is talking about. She's the new hero. And what is she a hero for? Criminality. In the age of Trump, you must break the law. In the age of Trump, you must be far worse than the enemy. What else are they going to justify? The White House put out posters outside the lawn of people who were arrested for the most heinous of crimes. Assault, battery, robbery, trafficking, sex assault, child sex assault, assault of every person under gang membership. And the news media is protecting them. Why? Because of Trump. The news media, who's supposed to be alerting you about the dangers of the world. Remember, is your shampoo killing you? Those folks are blurring out the faces of arrested criminals because to them, the bigger criminal is the guy who's displaying their pictures. That's the era of Trump. And why? Trump has revealed something that we all knew for a long time, is that they don't just hate America. they hate you. They do. You got a good job? You have an intact family? You have a nice home? You have a reasonable car? Do you go on vacation? Disney World, Disneyland, Dollywood, Six Flags, anywhere. You are hated by the left. Have a nest egg, disposable income, trying to put your kids through college so they can have a better life. You're a bad guy. They write about it every day. We read an article right here on this show that said that reading to your children at night was a form of white supremacy. What you're seeing today are people who hate this country so much that they will cheerlead the people trying to destroy it. From MS-13 to Tren de Aragua to judges like Judge Hannah Dugan. Those are their heroes because they disrupt our way of life. That's who they are. It's not about jealousy. Rama says it's politics of envy. I wish it were that simple. They look at the rest of the world in this idealistic way, having never been there, never studied anything about them. They only know that their default setting is hate America. And what do they think America is? America is law-abiding, Second Amendment loving, freedom loving, free speech loving people. What's on the opposite side of that? Come on, ask them. Ask them. People who use words like hate speech, people who use words like gun control, people who use words like free everything, free housing, free health care. They don't ever scream about, I don't know, freedom of thought. They never talk about those things. I've got people who listen to my show who send me messages all the time. They're angry with me. And it's usually the black audiences. Very angry with me. And why? Because I choose to be free and they don't want that. Oh, they'll tell you otherwise. No, Reese, I don't have a problem with you being free. You're a liar. You're a liar. You don't think freedom includes freedom of thought, freedom of belief. These people are who we know them to be. They are tyrants. Agree with us or else. Believe what we believe or you will be destroyed. We can't talk to you. We won't visit with you. We won't even celebrate Thanksgiving with you. You are not free to believe what you believe. Not in their eyes. And a couple of these moderates will be here and there talking all that nonsense. Oh, no, I'm not like that, Reese. I'm not like that. Well, maybe you. But where do you speak up when people of your ilk behave that way? You never do. I see you all the time, all over my feed, screaming and hollering about what I believe. No one ever sees you shouting to the rafters about your folks, telling them, hey, folks, calm down. It's okay for him to believe that. That's what we're all here for, right? Freedom of expression. I don't hear you. Why? You want to know why? It's the same reason the gay lobby is never outside of a mosque screaming for gay marriage. They know what the results will be. You can clearly talk to conservatives, even libertarians. You can tell them till the cows come home that you don't agree with them. You can tell them, man, I wish you guys would be a little fair. You can argue with them, fight with them, call them up on the phone. Hey, man, did you hear this stuff that Trump's doing? And the guys will take your call and says, yes, okay, that means this, this, and that. Or, you know what, I don't agree with that, but I understand what's going on. You'll have that debate all day. Call up a liberal and do the same thing. Hey, did you see what Chuck Schumer said? I can't talk to you right now. You know, you conservatives drive me nuts. And hang up the phone. It's never both ways. It's because they hate this country. They just do. And they want to remake it in their image. Crazy part about it is that they don't have one cohesive plan or one cohesive idea anyway. So here's what they really want. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And they know it, and I know it. What they want is anarchy. But you're not included. They want freedom of everything except what you believe. See, I always find it odd. I talk to these gun-grabbing liberals, these fun-loving folks, gun-grabbing liberals. I say, who do you think should have guns in this country? And they go, the government should have guns in this country. I said, okay, you mean the cops, right? And they go, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. You mean the same cops that are targeting blacks all over the inner city, gunning them down, rapid fire? And they immediately, that's what anarchy produces. Stupidity. There's no logic behind it. There's no ever going to be any logic behind it. They just want chaos. And it's usually from people who have never had any structure or who bucked it in the first place. That's the problem. And it's usually because they've never fit in. They've never been accepted. And instead of just following the rules, being good stewards, they've decided to throw a Molotov cocktail at the whole thing. No rhyme, no reason. It's the reason why it's easy to celebrate a murderer like Luigi Mangione. It is easy. I mean, it's almost effortless to support Abrego Garcia. It takes no logic, no reason for you to support Judge Hannah Dugan or any other judge or any other public figure who would defy the rule of law as long as they add on the fact that they did it in the name of Trump. Then all is forgiven. Gee, why'd you shoot that guy? He was talking good stuff about Trump. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I can see where you went crazy. Notice there were no headlines about the young lady who killed her father with a pickaxe on election night. That should have been everywhere. No coverage. Why? Because deep down, I kind of understand. Please spare me with the whole, well, Reese, I think that's outrageous. No, you don't. No, you don't. I've seen your TikTok feeds, your X feeds, your YouTube feeds. Not a mention. I see none of it. I see none of the outrage. You're all posting the polling data of Donald Trump's first 100 days. But I don't hear you talking about how Judge Dugan has violated the law. I don't hear you talking about the woman who was beaten by Ruiz, the man that she helped escape ICE custody. I don't see that. I don't see you screaming for the actual victims who were in that courtroom that the judge just ignored. I mean, she moved the guy out of their courtroom while the victims sit in her courtroom. And she aided and abetting the man who assaulted them. Where's your outrage there? What if that had been your mother? What if that had been your girlfriend? What if that had been your sister or your daughter? And you found out that there are activist judges aiding and abetting an illegal who may have done something violent to your family. Where's your message to the judges across the country? Look, I know you hate Trump, but you can't be aiding and abetting these guys fleeing custody I didn't see that anywhere. Not on any liberal feeds. I saw them standing in solidarity with the woman who broke the law. Spare me. It's all fun and games until it hits you, and then you're asking yourself, what was I thinking? Your news media, the Democrat Party and liberals, Lamont, Murphy, Blumenthal, Tong, all of them. All of them. They hate this country. And God forbid they hate this state. I got an article today talking about deportations from the Hartford Courant. Talking about how concerned they are about 1,000 homes becoming available automatically because of deportations. At the same time, screaming about a housing shortage. How could there possibly be a shortage of 1,000 homes when you've got a home shortage in the state? That seems odd. We'll talk about that too. Also, remember Maryland man Abrego Garcia? Well, now we got a new one. A Detroit woman from the Associated Press. That's going to be in the stupidest thing I read today. Also, we've got an interview with a mom, I should say, from the Solomon Schechter School that you don't want to miss. We did record it. I'll give you some feedback on it later on in this hour and explain that to you. We got to take a break, though. We'll be back. More news, more views, your phone calls, and, of course, your comments in the chat room. Just go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Hi, Tom Shattuck here. Nope, no bold political predictions. Today, instead, I'm making a bolder prediction. An opportunity, one might say. How about setting a goal to lose 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180? Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, right? 40 by the 4th. Imagine this. Your scale shows 240 today. How about watching that dip to a cool 200 by Independence Day? Or maybe it's reading over 300 like my scale did. How would it feel seeing 260 by the 4th and on your way to losing 80 pounds? Again, like I did with Awaken 180. Looking back, it took me only 5 weeks to drop my first 40. Of course, that's not the norm, but we'll just say I'm an overachiever. Regardless, if you set your goal and follow the program, you'll crush your goal by the 4th. Then ring Independence Day in, shirt off, confident, martini and burger in hand. Celebrate reaching your goal, knowing you'll keep the weight off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and attain it with your long-term solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. 18 years in prison for the man who struck a state trooper with his vehicle on Interstate 84 last year and took off. Alex Oyola Sanchez copped a plea in the death last May of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. He admitted to taking drugs before he got behind the wheel. Pelletier's wife and his brother and sister officers were calling for more prison time. In Trumbull, police have charged a man in the death of a woman he allegedly struck with a baseball bat on Monday. Detectives say that attack was domestic in nature. They received several 911 calls to the 10 Trumbull complex. Ili Shtopaku confronted several women, say police. He is charged with murder. UPS announcing it is cutting 20,000 jobs this year. The delivery giant will close also 73 of its outlets by the end of June. White House says President Trump will sign an executive order today to relax some of his 25% tariffs on autos and auto parts. President holding a rally later today in Michigan. Man who broke into a gun store in Newington 2 years ago and stole 38 firearms has been sentenced. Fitzpatrick Duffany gets 9 years in prison. Prosecutors say he cut his way into Hoffman's gun store on May of 2023 and was seen on surveillance stuffing the firearms into a duffel bag. And Alex Caravan is coming back to UConn. The redshirt senior made the announcement on social media today. Caravan says he wants one more shot at a third NCAA championship next season. WTIC News Time, 3:31. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, the sun mixing with some clouds, breezy and very warm. The high up to 80 today. Now tonight, mostly cloudy, remaining mild, though can't completely rule out a shower. The low down to 60. On Wednesday, a pleasant day, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, the high up to 71. Then Thursday, it'll be a nice day again with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right up to 70 on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
75 and sunny right now in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. Visit peterlbrown.com for a window special.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We live in financially tough times. High grocery prices, high utility bills, and now the worry of tariffs and high car prices. That's why it makes sense to take advantage of outlet pricing. Buy your Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford and save hundreds, even thousands over other area Subaru dealers. Over 400 tariff-free Subarus are on sale at up to $4,000 off MSRP. Get a brand new tariff-free Forester for only $28,695 or lease for only $259 a month. Crosstreks lease for only $229 a month, plus huge selection of tariff-free Outbacks and Ascents all on sale. And with 0% financing on select new Subarus, you're guaranteed to save even more. Plus, every new Subaru at the Bertera Subaru outlet comes with a complimentary 100,000-mile warranty. So do what makes sense and buy your tariff-free Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford, exit 33 off I-91 at the corner of Weston and Jennings, or online at BerteraMotors.com. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the
Hold on a minute.
cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I would be remiss if I did not mention that there are only 2 days left. And if you could, I would really, really appreciate it. Get out to the folks at Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Last year, well, you could go there more than the last 2 days. You can go there forever. Of course, they're our sponsor. But the last 2 days are today and, of course, tomorrow to pick up a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich because $1 of the proceeds go to our friends at the Friendly Hands Food Bank.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
So show them some love. Friendly Hands Food Bank and, of course, Between Rounds, our Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. I'm not taking any calls this hour, and I apologize, guys. I just don't want to be redundant. Just forgive me, on that level. And I love our regulars. Trust me, it's just I got a lot of stuff to get into today. I have an interview that I taped. I'm going to give you a couple of details about that as well. Because it is about a story that was covered in the newspapers, but not really covered on the news. The story in and of itself is horrible. And it is a story we have heard over and over again. Abuse of a child at a school. Everywhere you look, this is going on and on. At the same time, we've got yahoos running around saying, yeah, let's put more homosexual paraphernalia in the school libraries and make them a part of the teaching lessons in class. At the same time, we've got an onslaught of sexual abuse by administrators, if not teachers, inside the school of children. Again, like I told you, I think these people hate the state. I think they do. I think they hate you. I think they hate your children. I think they hate everybody here. Unless they're radical leftists. Like, there's no correlation at all. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's introduce sex toys to the kindergartners. I'm sure that won't result in any abuse allegations. Real, just dumbasses, just dumb. So we have one, unfortunately, at the Solomon Schechter School. And I say unfortunately because, again, it didn't have to come to this. Should have been dealt with. It's not, again, you don't have to indict an entire school behind one person's actions. But when somebody thwarts the effort of a parent to get to the bottom of it, then you have a bigger problem. And we'll talk about that interview. We had to alter the person's voice, and I did have to edit it for time. So we're going to play that immediately after the 4:05 break. When we go into, the BPS traffic with Mark Christopher. Immediately after that, when we come back from that and weather, we'll play the audio of that interview. So you'll get a chance to hear it. All right, and find out not exactly, to some degree what happened, because, of course, there is a criminal case here. So I will play that for you. My interview was with this parent on Sunday, I should say, and I've been editing it just to make sure that the person's voice was altered, and I had to make sure that we did not air anything that was that was going to affect the case in any way, and just that it sort of got the root of what was going on. And we don't need to talk about who did what and what did. That's going to be litigated between this individual, the parents, the victims, and all of the stuff. So again, this is not here to indict. I'm just here to tell a story of what happened. Most of the day, I got to talk about this this deportation deal. I'm sorry, the deportation, the immigration deal, because a lot of that is really taking over the conversation today. So let me just read a little bit of this. So according to this story in Milwaukee, the ICE agents there to pick up this gentleman Ruiz had followed all the rules, had done what was asked of them, and did not put the judge, Hannah Dugan, in a position that she had to violate the law. This was an action she took upon herself. Now, I think someone said, Lori, because I'm going to put you as the head of the Reese on the Radio research department. We understand that there's a sign that sat outside the door of Hannah Dugan's courtroom. And I'll lay it out this way, that the sign that she posted outside of her courtroom suggested if there were people who were nervous or uncomfortable with appearing in her courtroom, were given the option to do it over Zoom. So in essence, she understood that there were ICE agents who were coming into the court to arrest people who needed to be deported. And she, of her own volition, decided that she was going to assist them in some way. Hey, you don't want to come down to the courtroom because you're scared? Don't worry. We can do it on a Zoom call so you don't have to appear. So this was clearly a concerted effort by the judge. ICE arrest warrants are issued by an immigration officer, not a judge, making them administrative warrants. In 2021, the Biden administration designated arrest to protect access to justice. Trump rescinded this policy on January 20th, 2025, allowing ICE to execute arrest warrants in courthouses unless a local law prohibits it. Judge Hannah Dugan's insistence that agents couldn't make an arrest there without a judicial warrant seems to indicate she didn't get the memo, believing that ICE agents were violating their own policy. However, 2 ICE arrests at the Milwaukee County Courthouse in early April made headlines. In response, Milwaukee County Chief Judge Carl Ashley emailed staff on April 3rd, stating, "I'm not sure if we have the authority to intervene in what happens in a public hallway." This indicates Judge Dugan was likely aware that she had no legal justification for interfering with the arrest. Dugan's actions on April 4th appear to be an act of civil disobedience, intentionally interfering with federal agents due to her disagreement with ICE's policies. Part of an engaging in civil disobedience is facing the consequences, which sometimes includes criminal prosecution. Carl Ashley, the Chief Justice, or the Chief Judge in her courtroom, has since spoken out. He has been interviewed. Here he is in his own words.
So the reality is, for my colleagues, We don't have control in the public hallways. A administrative warrant is a warrant that can be effectuated in a public hallway. A judicial warrant has more authority and go into private areas, but we're trying to work out a process where there can be respect for the courtroom and what we're doing, but allow the immigration and customs enforcement to do what they need to do as well. We just want to stay in our lane. We want to be transparent with the community about what we can do and what we can't.
She was flat out. He explained clearly that what happened, ICE was in their right to do, and Judge Dugan was acting on her own accord. That's a fact. So ask anyone about what their outrage is. What are they upset about? That she got arrested? That it was done in public view? That she was made a spectacle? So what? So what? Why would this be a problem now? You've got a bunch of activist judges, and you know who they are, a bunch of activist judges who are willing to break the law. Which one of you doesn't want to see, with a little degree of schadenfreude, which one of you don't want to see these people get perp walked? Come on. Come on. You see it happening all the time to people you like and you respect. And you think about how horrible it is. Tell me one time you didn't want one of these people to break the law. I'd love to see one of these people get hoisted by their own. Yeah, come on. Donald, you don't want it on both sides. Please stop. Please stop. I love the fair and impartial nonsense you try to tell me, but please, with all due respect, come on, buddy. You don't want to see it on both sides. You just don't want to see it on your side. See, when it's on your side, you make an argument that it's partisan. When it's on your side, it's retribution. I haven't received one post. Come on, Donald. I haven't seen one post about the waning Democrat Party, the screaming and hollering, the cursing, the beard wearing, the singing of Yiddish songs outside the Capitol on a Sunday afternoon, looking like absolute moron. I don't see it. I don't see it. By the way, we'll talk about the Canadian election and why is anybody, I can't believe that people are actually celebrating that a liberal won in Canada. Like, what are you celebrating? Like, you're excited that the conservative lost and the liberal won, and you think this is a victory? You clearly don't know how this works. Don sent me a text earlier today and says, "Oh, the liberal guy won in the Canadian elections." My response to him was, "Yeah," which means that Donald Trump's going to roll right over him. What do you think's going to happen to the liberal prime minister in Canada? I give it a week. He'll be begging for the tariffs to be uplifted, to be lifted, and he'll capitulate within a heartbeat. That's what libs do when they're backed up against it. Seriously. I expect this new prime minister to put on his chapstick now, because he's going to be kissing a lot of butt. He's got no power. It's Canada. Also, when we get back after the interview, I want to talk about these deportations, talking about accelerating in Connecticut that they're concerned about. Headline says, deportations is accelerating in Connecticut, threatening hundreds of businesses. And again, this stupid notion that Connecticut is losing tax dollars here. This is just sloppy. This is the worst reporting ever. You can't spend $1.3 billion on them being here and then say that you're concerned about $400 million in taxes that you're going to lose. Like, do you not understand how that works? Like, them leaving saves taxpayers $1.3 billion. It's that simple. Just do the math. I don't know if Chris Murphy's. No, he's not going to Canada. Oh, yeah, he'll go to bat for Canada. Of course he will. He's everywhere else. Oh, we got to take a break. I just saw that. All right, when we take a break, I'll give you a breakdown of what this interview is on the opposite side of it. So stick around for that. More news, more views. Stupidest thing I read today. Oh, yeah. Detroit woman in the news. We'll get to that as well. And then your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's take a break. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 in credit card debt?
Okay.
Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 207-4545.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor
It's
if
peanut
common
butter
sense
jelly
is right
time,
for you.
peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
I knew I did that wrong. Yeah, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. This is the note that was outside of Judge Dugan, Hannah Dugan's courtroom. It says, if any attorney, witness coordinator, or other court official knows or believes that a person feels unsafe coming to the courthouse to courtroom 615, please notify the branch 31 clerk to request court appearance via Zoom. So this was, again, she put that outside her courtroom. And when people talk that time, there's no such thing as an activist judge. Folks, that's what the definition of an activist judge is. What this woman did was exactly what an activist judge does. So you don't have to be, it's not ambiguous. It's very clear. All right, so I only got 2 minutes to explain this. Let me break it down. Solomon Schechter School, we had a teacher who's alleged to have committed an act that concerned a parent. Parent went to the school about it. School became somewhat obtuse, was not helpful to the parent. The parent's efforts ended up leading to a DCF investigation, which then led to an arrest. After that arrest, another arrest took place. Turns out that there was another incident at another school with the same individual. The parent that pretty much sparked all of this from the get-go was in contact with Mark from West Hartford. You know him here, regular on the show, and he was the person who broke this story when no one else wanted to talk about it. But again, Mark and I always looked at this from the angle that always bothered us in these cases. Is it the fact that there are school administrators who are not assisting parents in these cases like this? In fact, they're running opposition and running interference for the offenders or trying to evade scandal. They're worried about their own overhead. They're worried about their own reputation instead of doing what's right. Not taking those claims and acting on, I guess, the better judgment. Informing DCF, informing first reporters. They are obligated to. Not doing that. Finding anything and everything to keep this kind of stuff under wraps. Now, in my view, it's criminal, but that's going to be decided by a court, and that's going to be decided by the people who are involved. I'm just speaking just as a person who covers these stories. As soon as we come back at the top of the hour, we'll introduce it again, but we'll be talking to one parent who sparked all of this, and a story that should be everywhere. And you'll get to hear from that parent when we get back. So stick around for that. Let's get our first check of the show's weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic as you move from exit 45 down to the Dexter-Coffin Bridge. We have some road work there on 91 southbound in the 2 left lanes, so stay to the right there as you move East Windsor into Windsor Locks. 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84 is tied up. 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you're looking at delays now from about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. Now, if you are traveling on the southbound side of Route 9 right now, look out for a crash in Berlin. I'm sorry, I said south. I should have said north. 9 northbound between 32 and 34. The left lane is out there, so look for delays back to exit 31 in Berlin behind that. Also, some rubbernecking on the southbound side of Route 9 as you move down from exit 25 down to exit 23. New Britain into Berlin. Traveling into Waterbury, westbound 84, you've got delays now approaching exit 22 up to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling into the New Haven area right now, southbound Parkway a little tight as you approach the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, the sun mixing with some clouds, breezy and very warm. The high up to 80 today. Now tonight, mostly cloudy, remaining mild, though can't completely rule out a shower. The low down to 60. On Wednesday, a pleasant day, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, the high up to 71. Then Thursday, it'll be a nice day again with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right up to 70 on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 75 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. On his way to mark 100 days of his second term to Michigan, President Trump addressed a softening of tariffs on automobiles. The measures include a guarantee that a car maker wouldn't face multiple tariffs on the same vehicle.
If they can't get parts, we didn't want to penalize them. And they have a one-year period and then they have an extra year, but it's for a very, very small part of the car. Basically, they're paying 25%.
Trump also addressed Amazon not planning to list added tariff costs next to product prices on its site, despite speculation spanning from a report that claimed the e-commerce giant would soon show new import charges.
Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly, and he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
Leading Democrats giving Trump a failing grade for those first 100 days. They held the Capitol press conference in Hartford today, citing budget cuts, civil rights setbacks, and the economic cost of the Trump tariffs. State Treasurer Eric Russell says the president is focused on enriching himself and his friends.
Dinners for whoever invests most in his latest meme coin, or it is tipping off his billionaire friends before he pauses tariffs and watches the market jump. And meanwhile, working people are struggling to figure out how they're going to make ends meet.
Governor Lamont says the president's policies target key programs like school lunches and Medicaid, and State Attorney General William Tong says the country's in a constitutional crisis, with Trump disregarding laws and court rulings. Republican House Leader Vin Candelora says the Democrats are guilty of manufacturing outrage about affordability and fiscal responsibility. Alex Oyola Sanchez, the driver who ran over a state police trooper last May, has been sentenced to 18 years in prison. He pleaded guilty to a first-degree manslaughter charge in February in the death of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier.
We had hoped and asked and wrote a letter to get the maximum 20-year sentence, so we are disappointed, but we also respect the court's decision.
State Police Union President Todd Fettigan, reacting outside New Britain Superior Court today, says Pelletier's fellow brother and sister officers will continue to to help his widow, Dominique, and 2 young sons in his absence. Consumer confidence has taken a hit for the 5th month running. Kelly O'Grady with Money Watch.
New numbers today, consumer confidence. People are not feeling good, and that expectations index, how people feel about the next 12 months when it comes to the economy, the labor market, and their personal financial situation, has dropped to the lowest level since October 2011. And particularly in the labor market, 32% of people surveyed think that employment is going to fall over the next 6 months.
Job openings have fallen in the lowest level since last September. In Chatham, Illinois, 3 children and an 18-year-old were killed after a woman's car struck a building where an after-school program was underway.
She is not currently in custody, and that is probably along the lines of police saying they don't believe this was a targeted attack, looking more at this was possibly an accident. They are also saying that the toxicology report hasn't come back.
It's Lee and Lee reporting. And there's a meeting tonight in the town of Plymouth on zoning concerns for a private swingers club that's operating near the Riverside Baptist Church. Pastor David Townsley says he reported seeing an increase in vehicles in a driveway he shares with the Wicked Fun Club late at night from around 9 until 2 in the morning.
I thought he was putting apartments in because there was some other details, but obviously this wasn't that. So I just started, okay, well, this is unusual. And then there started to be more cars, so kind of like, well, what's going on here?
He was on WTIC's Brian and Company. The club's owner argues that the town's cease and desist order is a violation of the First Amendment. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 300 points. NASDAQ up 95, and the S&P is up 32 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
As men get older, we all know that.
Yes, sir.
And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be
I may
amazed
need
at the
one
change. You'll have
extra
more energy,
minute.
improve mental clarity. Your sleep will be
In-
your
in the- in
workouts,
the-
and you'll likely
in-
find
in
your
the
sex
break
drive
when we come
increases
back
too.
from
So give us a
traffic
call
and
today
weather.
and make a change.
Oh, okay. When we come back, you need 1 extra minute.
Yeah, in
Knowledge
other
and
words,
improved
yeah, it's
blood
like
work
when we
and
come back
medical
in that
consult.
in that
And
break
if you start treatment
between
the day
the
of your appointment, your visit is
before
free.
the bottom
Call
of the hour,
800-930-5556.
that talk break, yeah, I may need
That's
one
800-930-5556.
extra minute because I think we're at
Or go to
16:40.
northeastmenshealth.com. That's Northeast Men's Health.
Okay.
We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast
Here
Men's
we go.
Prometic restorative health practice.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're going to try to be quick in this break, primarily for two reasons. One, we got the interview that I taped on Sunday coming up with this is the Solomon Schechter Day School in West Hartford with the mom there in the story. That, again, this is not like a secret story. The story is out there. You can find out about it. You can read about it. But this is the exclusive interview with the mom that is at the center of this case, or at least as the child that's at the center of this case. And I'll be talking to her. So we'll be playing that, directly. It was edited for time, and we also had to edit the voice on there. So if it sounds weird to you, it's because we altered the voice of the parent to keep them, of course, anonymous. Which in essence is just to give you a breakdown of what the whole case is. Also, an important thing I wanted to look at, guys, I need you to go, if you can, go to reesonthenradio.com. Go to the comments section and just let me know. A lot of you do watch the show on reesonthenradio.com. A lot of you do watch it. I would like your feedback about the program on that level. Many of you listen on the Odyssey app. Many of you listen on radio. Many of you watch the show. No matter where you are in all of this, tell me your sort of where you listen to the show. It says something, it's unscientific, but it's something that I'm trying to understand about the show, your interest in it, and where you watch. So I hope you'll help me out in participating in that. Go to reesonthenradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Just go to the comment section and just post in where do you listen or watch the show and why you like it for that reason. Just give me a quick one. I just want to read a couple of them and sort of get your perspective on how you listen to the Reese on the Radio program. Okay? Of course, I'll share it with the people who are important. But this is something I'm doing a test for. It's just something I'm trying to understand. So I appreciate that. And we'll mention it more in the show. Let's get another check of the traffic with the weather first with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center. And then we'll get directly into the Solomon Schechter interview. Hey, Mark.
This is a test. This is only a test. Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. This traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And we have problems brewing 9 northbound in New Britain right now. Looks like the remains of a vehicle fire 9 northbound, and that's between exit 32 and exit 34. And it looks like the highway is shut down there right now. So right now you've got delays 9 northbound back to I-91 and Cromwell behind that. Very lengthy delay there. And once again, that's because of a vehicle fire. Now, southbound on Route 9 delays 35 down to exit 33, rubbernecking at that northbound issue. Southbound 91, look for delays now as you move East Windsor into Windsor Locks between 44 and 42. Southbound 91, 2 left lanes out on the Dexter Coffin Bridge with the construction. Southbound 91, you're looking at delays approaching 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91, no problems. Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 eastbound's a little slow. I-91 over to the Bissell. Heading to westbound delays from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. A 9 northbound Middletown slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 91 southbound in Meriden delays approaching 19 down to exit 18. Northbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic 67 up to exit 68W. If you're heading into Waterbury, westbound 84 slows 22 to the Mixmaster and down into New Haven, south 95 a little tight from 46 down to 44. Stuck in traffic again? Don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast, often in just one day, open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's been a beautiful day as we head through tonight. Mostly cloudy, breezy and mild. Can't completely rule out a shower, but the low only down to 55. Nice day for us on Wednesday, sunny to partly cloudy. Not as warm, but still very pleasant. Breezy, the high of 70. Another nice day Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right back to 70. Couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Friday. Some of those storms could be strong to severe and produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, the high 78 Friday. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers around, mainly late in the day, the high still 75. A nicer day to round out the weekend. On Sunday, it'll be dry, partly sunny, mild, a high of 66. Right now, it is 75 in Bristol, 72 in Waterbury, 68 in Bridgeport, with a little bit of a breeze off the water, and 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Progressive, we're making things easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together.
You said how long is it? 1640?
About
Learn more at
1640, yeah.
progressive.com.
All right, so I'm gonna move one of these minutes over.
Okay.
They say diamonds are forever, but forever's a long time, especially when you're waiting for a plumber. So join Joe the Plumber's Diamond Club. Diamond Club members get front-of-the-line service, plus discounts and reduced fees. Join the Diamond Club today at calljoetheplumber.com.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, hello, ALO. Call for details.
All right, in 10.
P10277-688, D10401-465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Okay, ma'am, we're keeping your name anonymous in all of this, and we have altered your voice. I'm just going to ask you a series of questions, and you just answer them to the best of your ability. If you cannot, just say you can't address that at this particular time, and then we'll move on. How long has the child in question attended the Solomon Schechter Day School?
The child in question has been there since preschool, so this would be the third year of her attendance.
During her tenure there, the only time there was ever an issue was this last year. Was there any other time before then?
So this would be an isolated incident new to this year. We have never experienced anything like this previously.
In our pre-conversations, you had told me that your husband and yourself were very concerned about these allegations because you didn't want to come forward because of concerns that you had about the legitimacy of the claims, whether or not the teacher in question would have some form of defense, or if it was in, some sort of misunderstanding. But there was someone in your family that brought this to your attention that made you think twice about it. Can you explain a little bit about that?
So, to be completely honest, I was unaware of the extent of the unusual nature of the relationship between my child and the teacher. We were told some odd information about the teacher crossing what we thought were some unusual boundaries about sharing food with our child, and we had thought it odd. And it really wasn't until another child within our family came home and said that they noticed that the teacher was touching her sibling. And at that point in time, we recognized that there was something that we needed to look into. We were not completely sure of what we were going to embark on, because at that point in time, we had not heard anything from the child in question. So hearing this information was very shocking.
So it's safe to say that you didn't jump the gun, you didn't hear something from the sibling and immediately run into action, believing that accusation. You just hadn't heard anything, and you were sort of waiting or seeing if something was to make of this. You just didn't want to jump to conclusions. Is that fair to say?
Beyond fair, in that I think this was kind of a multi-phase approach. The first thing we did was try to figure out from the child in question what it was that was viewed by the sibling. And then from there, when we noticed there was an extreme resistance to talk about the matter, we recognized that we needed to keep a closer eye on it. But again, as parents, it's kind of like you start to second guess or question yourself, because we use this word tickle, and I'm using air quotes because what is tickling? Where is appropriate tickling? But better yet, who should be tickling our children? Is it something that's just reserved for family members, close friends? Is it acceptable for a teacher to be tickling your child? And that's something that we kind of had to look at. And as we gathered information, we began to realize that there was something deeply troubling about a teacher tickling our child, because when you send your child to school, there's an expectation that a teacher conducts themselves in a professional manner. And clearly, we went to the internet, and even just a quick Google search, should a teacher be tickling a student, there is a clear and concise answer of no.
When you had an understanding that something was wrong due to behavior changes in the child, there were, I think the description that you gave me was something along the area of night terrors. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So the child that we are discussing was a well-mannered, very loving, very empathetic, sympathetic, very affectionate child. And since her return to school after the summer, we began to notice a drastic shift in not just her sleeping habits, but her overall behavior. Obviously, without knowing the information that we now know about the deep extent of fear she was facing every day when attending school, one could not account for the behavioral changes because they were two separate pieces of a puzzle that once they came into focus together, it was kind of like an explanation for why we saw such a drastic change in the overall demeanor, mental status, and functioning of our particular child.
All right, so we're going to jump ahead a little bit here because from what we do know, these allegations did lead to an arrest. We also know that the individual has been arrested on a separate charge. Is it 2 charges, 3 charges? How many charges are there at this time?
So as far as I know that when the news came out about the potential allegations and the arrest warrant was served and media attention began to hit, I know that other parents started to come forward to the West Hartford police, and because some of these schools were in different cities or towns, the West Hartford police had directed them to go to the police in the area where the school was located. So it is my understanding that, there is now another case where he was rearrested for similar accusations, and from what I have read in the news and media, the stories are almost identical, except the other child preceded my child, and whatever took place with that child and the teacher was the school year prior to him coming to the school where my child was, but the events read almost the same.
So let's get into that because now we're talking about patterns and different schools, talking about dates that precede your child. The problems that you faced in this that many people are finding the most egregious is when you started to take notice of these allegations, sort of confirming them, you immediately went to the Solomon Schechter Day School for assistance in finding out what's going on. And you were met with...
I would call it resistance.
Sure.
Call it being dismissed. I believe that when I did gather what I felt was enough solid information to support and substantiate what my older child had told us she witnessed, and which was finally confirmed by the child in question herself, I absolutely did approach the school and told them that my daughter would not be coming to school until we found a resolution to the matter. And then I think at that point in time, there became a divide.
I'm assuming, because I know people are going to ask, having heard you said that, what kind of resolution were you looking for? I'm assuming you wanted an investigation, if not an arrest, if these allegations were true. Is that the resolution you were looking for?
I mean, I think I have to back it up and say an arrest comes down the road.
Sure.
At the very least, I wanted the teacher suspended pending an investigation.
You wanted him to have his due process, so to speak.
I think when you have an allegation as serious as the one that was made, that the first thing to do is to protect the children. I understand that there needs to be an investigation, but ultimately, while that investigation is happening, that particular teacher should be suspended with, pay whatever their, process is. Pending the results of an official investigation, we need to look out for the safety and well-being of any child in a classroom setting when an allegation as serious as this is being made.
Let's talk about that, because you got resistance. You clearly weren't getting that. So the resistance in one case was a term that you used. I found it incredibly odd that it was used, but you said that you were told to bring the child back to class.
My understanding was that when I spoke with the administrators, they felt that my child should just be returned to class as normal, with the understanding that it would not happen again, and that would be that she would return to class like everything was normal, despite my telling them and, getting professional assessments saying that it is not in the best interest of my child for her to be around someone that is causing her to feel this way. The impression that I got was that she should just return as if nothing happened.
Okay, so there were remedies that were given to you in getting your child back to the class, not dealing with the teacher, not dealing with what you wanted in all of this.
Because the school had conducted what they called an investigation, though I never received any details about what they call this investigation or who conducted it, but they felt that they had looked into the matter, and as I understand it, I was told that there was nothing that they felt needed to be done about this situation. I was asked if I had a problem with teachers hugging my child, to which my response was, maybe sometimes a child may need a hug, but I do not think there is ever a time or place where a child needs to be tickled by their teacher. I was also told that this particular educator was just being dad-like, which I find very interesting, because when we send our children to school, we're not sending them to school to get, maternal or paternal figures. We're sending them to school to get an education. So, though I appreciate the sentiment, my children have a father, and I didn't send them to school to have a dad. I sent them to school to get an education.
Let's get to the point that I believe is probably one of the most incredible parts of this story.
In an effort to try to, have my children return to school, because at this point in time, my children were out of school for approximately 2.5 weeks, the school had offered to engage in restorative justice, in which the teacher would have a meeting with my child and assure her that she would not be tickled again, and then she should just return to the classroom and proceed as if nothing happened.
Okay, of course you rejected this idea.
Based on everything that I know as a parent and from what the professionals had told me, this would be detrimental to my daughter's mental health, considering how fearful she was from the situation and the encounters she had. So placing her in a room, to be told that it wouldn't happen again doesn't seem very restorative. It seems very intimidating.
You had conversations with other teachers at the Solomon Schechter Day School. Talk to me a little bit about your conversations with them as they pertain to the teacher in question.
So I had wanted to reach out to some teachers that I knew personally, just to get, an assessment or kind of figure out where they stood on their, overall feelings about this particular teacher during the course of what I consider to be trying to get information about the situation. And I was told several unsettling things from other teachers that had worked with this particular gentleman. And when I heard this information, I felt it prudent that someone that wouldn't respect boundaries, and I'm hearing these concerning things about my child, I knew that I had to bring the information I knew forward to administration.
Was there ever any assistance by the school to get to the bottom of these allegations, or during this entire time, were they a roadblock? How did we get from past the school to an arrest? Tell me about that process.
At a certain point in time, while discussing these events with another professional in regards to my child, they felt that the events required reporting to DCS, and I had told them that it was my understanding and impression that the school told me that they did report this to DCS. The individual that I had been speaking to felt an obligation to report it themselves, and at that point in time, an outside party outside the Solomon Schechter Day School reported the events to DCS, and at that point in time, DCS did begin an investigation which brought in the West Hartford police, and then they started their own investigation parallel to DCS, and ultimately, after doing their investigation, they filed for an arrest warrant, which was approved by a judge, and then ultimately the teacher was arrested.
It's safe to say that you have documented your interactions with the administrators at the Solomon Schechter Day School in West Hartford from beginning to end, yes?
Yes.
Where do you wish to go from here? I mean, of course, this man is going to have his day in court. Of course, you may testify in all of this to what took place. But beyond that, where does this go?
So what I can say is that I am completely heartbroken, and my trust in the school was completely eroded. I had entrusted my children, my family to them to keep these kids safe, and I am forced to assume that the level of secrecy was in an effort to avoid a scandal. And ultimately, I think at the heart of this, the school, the administrators should have listened more closely to what, myself as a parent and other parents were saying, because I was not alone.
We got to end it there because we got to go to a break. So I'll tell you the last part, or at least I'll find the last part to it, but it was literally wrapping up. But that's the interview so far. And we'll make that available on reasoontheradio.com so you can listen intently for yourself. But we got to go to traffic and weather with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher. And we'll talk about this on the other side. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. And if you are making your way 9 northbound right now, is not pretty on the Berlin New Britain line. We have the remains of an accident and vehicle fire there, and that has shut down the roadway northbound right at exit 32. The accident occurred between 32 and 34. So right now, if you are traveling on 9 northbound, you're going to see some very heavy traffic in Cromwell from exit 20. That would be, let's see, that's 20 or 30S, all the way up to the roadway where it's closed down at exit 32. So that's a pretty big delay there. 9 southbound, you're slowing from exit 35 down to 33. In Berlin, rubbernecking at that northbound issue. Now, if you're southbound 91, look for delays 36 to 35 in Windsor. Again, 34 down to 32 A and B. If you're traveling into Meriden, look for delays now approaching exit 20, Country Club Road in Middletown down to 19 in Meriden. Northbound 91 moves well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound is running slow, I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound, East Hartford delays 1D up to the 84 West Merge. If you're traveling 9 northbound, you got slow traffic 22 in Middletown up to the Aragoni Bridge. 50 northbound Parkway delays 67 up to exit 60 AW. Westbound 84 is a little slow as you move from exit 22 to the Mixmaster. Heading in toward Newtown, delays 84 eastbound from 10 to 11. 95 southbound slows in New Haven from 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, the sun mixing with some clouds, breezy and very warm. The high up to 80 today. Now tonight, mostly cloudy, remaining mild, though can't completely rule out a shower. The low down to 60. On Wednesday, a pleasant day, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, the high up to 71. Then Thursday, it'll be a nice day again with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right up to 70 on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, 74 degrees, partly sunny skies in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man who struck a state police trooper with his vehicle and took off nearly a year ago has been sentenced. Alex Oyola Sanchez gets 18 years behind bars after he copped a plea on a manslaughter rap into striking Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier with his vehicle while Pelletier was on the job last May 30th. Oyola Sanchez had admitted to using drugs prior to that crash. Pelletier and Pelletier's wife and fellow officers wanted more prison time. 9 years in prison for the man who broke into a Newington gun store 2 years ago. Fitzpatrick Duffany cut his way into the Hoffman gun store in Newington in 2023 and swiped over 3 dozen guns, only 6 of which have been recovered. On this 100th day of his second term, President Trump poised to sign executive orders easing some tariffs on automobiles. He's holding a rally later this afternoon in Michigan. At the state capitol today, Governor Lamont and fellow Democrats panned the president's first 100 days, from tariffs to flouting the rule of law and court actions. Minority Leader in the House, Vin Candelora, says his Democratic colleagues are manufacturing outrage. Harvard is promising to review its academic offerings and admissions policies in response to a pair of internal reports on anti-Semitism and anti-Arab prejudice at the Ivy League campus following pro-Palestinian protests. And UConn men's basketball forward Alex Caraban is going to stick around for another year. Caraban on social media today saying he's returning for another season at UConn next year. He'll be a redshirt senior. Says he aims to go for a third national championship in 4 years. Dow up 300 points on Wall Street today. NASDAQ picked up 95 and the S&P was up 32. Baseball on the radio tonight. The Red Sox begin a 3-game set in Toronto with the Jays. 6:07 is the pregame, so it's right after the 6 o'clock news here. The Yankees continue their series in Baltimore with the Orioles tonight. The red-hot Mets at home to Arizona. Eastern League, the Yard Goats host Chesapeake. NBA playoffs, Orlando and the Celtics. C's lead that series 3-1, and the Knicks will try to finish off the Pistons tonight at the Garden. They lead that series 3-1. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
$5,000. That's money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LEAD25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LEAD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LEAD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Telephone number 522-9842. I had to go through all of that. I hope that the voice wasn't too did it sound too muffled to you, Roland? Or did it come across?
Sound like them.
Sound like what?
It was fine. It sounded like those TV shows when they blurred out the face. And
Yeah, like the Dateline show. Yeah, it was this odd thing on my recording equipment. I found it on there, and you can actually just pick it. And I was listening to it. I was just like, actually, it sounds pretty good. It makes them sound like it makes a woman sound like a man, like that. So I was a little concerned about that. That it would come across like that would be distracting. But I listened to it a couple of times. It was okay. The final thing that the parent wanted to note was that, in essence, she was disappointed at the school. And she felt let down because, and this is something I try to explain to everyone, right? I learned this from my ex-wife. Never expect other people to behave as you would. Never do it. Not that they won't, but never expect it. And in her case, she had done everything. There's so much more to this story that's so documented. But again, we can't get into the weeds because you never want to let all of that stuff know. But there's so much to this story. This parent did everything. And I had at least, three conversations with her so far before I even recorded them. She did everything to delay going this far. To the point, it's like, it's not that she didn't believe her child. It's just that she did not want to jump the gun. There's a lot of concern. Nobody wants to be the person that finds out that they ruined somebody's life over a false claim. If you've got any moral fiber, you're like, even though it's your child, just like, I don't want to be the head of that. There's another woman that wants to contact me about the same school, has not filed any charges. Why? Because they don't want to be in a minute. Why? Because there's a degree of shame. And I think that's the other part that's crazy about this. Even from the Janet Serrano case, there were so many people that are so scared to death to open their mouth and to come forward when there was clear wrongdoing. So here we have a parent who struggled really long and hard to say a word and finally said enough is enough. Let's get another check of the traffic and weather with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, right now, 9 northbound in the Berlin moving into New Britain is a real mess right now. The remains of an accident and vehicle fire there. It occurred between exit 32 and 34. Right now, it looks like they're letting traffic by in the right shoulder. And you've got delays back to I-91 and Cromwell behind that. Also, some rubber decking delays on the southbound side of Route 9 from 35 down, 35 down to 33. So, messy situation there. If you're traveling into Hartford, southbound 91, delays getting by exit 36, again 34 down to 32A and B. And you've got slow traffic again as you move from approaching 19 in Meriden down to exit 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound side of 91, that's okay. Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor area right now. If you're traveling southbound 91, East Windsor into Windsor, look for traffic delays now from 45 down to exit 42. Left lanes, the two left lanes on the Dexter Coffin Bridge out with some road work there. So that is heavy going through there. If you're traveling westbound 84, delays 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound delays about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound tight East Hartford from 1D up to the 84 West Merge. Now, if you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays 22 up to the Aragoni. Heading into Waterbury, not too bad right now. Westbound just a little slow as you approach the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, Newtown slowing 10 to 11. And down in New Haven, 95 southbound delays 46 to 43. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic between 60 and the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, it's been a beautiful day as we head through tonight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild. The low only down to 55. Can't completely rule out a shower tonight. Heading into our Wednesday, another very pleasant day. Not as warm, but still nice out there. Sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, the high at 70. Thursday, another nice day with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right back to 70. Now Friday, going to be an active day with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe and produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. The high of 78. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers around mainly late in the day, the high 75. cooler but mild on Sunday and dry to partly sunny, the high of 66. Currently, with the wind coming off the water, it's cooler to the south. New London at 61, New Haven 64, and 66 for Bridgeport. Heading inland, Danbury at 77, 73 for Mansfield, and 72 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at Ayala Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, E10401465, E11856443, S330869, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical...
40 seconds.
Policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy.
Here we go.
California Psychics.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
It's true, I tell you. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll get to the phones really, really quick. I love this. But by the way, for all of you who woke up this morning saying, hey, look at his poll numbers. Look at his poll numbers. First 100 days, lowest in 80 years. Back at you, bub.
New polling shows Democratic leadership with only a 27% approval. It's a record low for the party in CNN polling back to 2008. What do they need to do? What is their challenge?
Well, the challenge is that they've gone on the Senate side incredibly ineffective and, frankly, out of touch leadership that has no idea how to offer an alternative to Donald Trump. They don't want to bash, slap around the president. What they want is that agenda delivered in a more efficient, more effective, more compassionate way.
So let's take a survey. Let's run it all down. The weekend protests. The setting Teslas on fire. Huh? All of that stuff. The town hall meetings, the ambushing. All of that. The polling data goes from 29 to 27. Hell, Chris Murphy, he grew a beard. So did Pete Buttigieg. They're growing beards. They're cursing. They're making viral videos. They're collecting millions of dollars from their donors. Hey, give me $1. Give me $30. Give me $20. They are amassing millions of dollars. And the polling data says they're going down. Oh, baby. Good luck. I'm not concerned. Nobody's concerned. MSNBC went around and talked to Trump supporters. MSNBC did. Like they do that ever. Talked to Trump supporters to see if they could get people to hate on Trump, and they came up short. They didn't actually even have to air the people who supported him. They could have found anybody who hated Trump, who voted for him, and then aired that as the propaganda. They could find no one. Okay? Just please, with all due respect, stop it. Let's go back to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Mark's in West Hartford. Hey, buddy.
Hey, I know you're going to start segueing into Trump and his performance, but I just got to put a period. And it actually goes back to before you hearing the interview, which was phenomenal. Ask a cop or firefighter which calls were the worst ones for us. And it was always the ones that involved children. Yeah. And I spoke with this parent many times, and I'm going to tell you something. It was hard for me to keep it together during all our conversations. So that's a brave parent. That's all I could say. And you're brave too, because I know that you have to be careful. So, that was awesome. But listen, the reason why I want to put a period on is you made a comment about where the teachers, they're mandated reporters. Right. Well, I just posted on my Twitter account, Mark from West Hartford. And again, we don't want to get lost in the weeds because I have the police report. There's so much in there. You could do an interview every day with me and the mom or anybody that knows about this case. But I want to read this one line. So not only are the children were being preyed upon, listen to this, and we refer to her as teacher number 2. This is in my police report, which I posted. Teacher number 2 had given Ricciardi, the guy who's allegedly tickling kids, Ricciardi a hug to congratulate him on, and it's redacted, but he had just had a baby. So I'm going to assume that she was congratulating for being a new dad.
Okay.
And at this point, she hugged him. Ricciardi had placed his hand on her buttocks area, which was unwanted. Teacher number 2 also did not want to report this incident for being in fear of losing her job. So,
and this isn't, wait. This made it to a police report?
I just posted it. I tagged you. Mm-hmm. I hope that you can.
No, I knew this. Now I want you to know. Let me tell you this in full disclosure. The parent actually makes that claim in the interview that we did. I edited it out because I did not know that was public knowledge, so I did not want to air that for that reason. Okay. So no. That was the only reason why I didn't. She mentioned it to me, but I said, okay, I don't know if that's in any police report. I don't want to cast it. I don't want to put that out there unless that's been substantiated. But if it's in a police report, that means that's almost like an affidavit. So, okay, so now that it's there.
To go in there and investigate that. So So we now have to protect, well, first and foremost, the children, but the very people that we expect to protect the children are also being preyed upon. And there's a culture at Solomon Schechter to a point where they're afraid to tell anybody in fear of losing their job. Now, there's a Rabbi Berger in charge there. I mean, somebody has to answer for this publicly.
Correct.
I'm not talking about emails to the parents. You owe it to everybody that lives not in my town, but the state of Connecticut and the rest of the country if they're listening.
Yeah,
you got a culture in there where kids are being tickled. You're not doing right by them, and you have teachers getting grabbed by the butt by this very teacher.
I think
know about it.
The alarming part here, Mark, on this was, and again, I think that was the part for me I thought was incredibly egregious was this effort to keep it in-house to avoid the scandal as alleged by the parent. And again, it would be one thing if it were just an allegation. It's another thing when it is documented. I mean, I read it, that the intent was to keep it under wraps. So that's the part that, again, this is evident. Like I said, I don't care about the civil litigation that goes on with this, because apparently there will be one, and there should be, of course. But if you have somebody aiding and abetting the cover-up of that kind of crime and saying, hey, let's just keep it quiet, in so many words, that's a problem. And someone should say something about that. And I'm glad, again, out of fear, I know that there are parents, again, as another parent who had actually contacted me on my radio line, and I realized that they didn't want to, they didn't want to do an interview. Two, they just wanted to talk to me to tell me what they wanted because they didn't want to put their name out there at all. But my first question was, well, wait a minute, have you filed a police report? And they were like, no. And I'm like, why? And they were like, because they don't want to go down that road. They are too, I don't know if ashamed, embarrassed, or scared to make themselves a part of this story, or to at least get some sort of retribution. I'm not getting it. It's like this culture of cover-up.
There's a culture in this town. There's a culture in this town, and if you make your way up here, I'm going to take you around and show you some places and where these people are. But there's a culture in this town where they want to protect their image and money. This is a very wealthy school. The people that sit on the board, the Zach family, they need to come out and say something. We've got millionaires funding that place. How did they not come out and say something? Why? I have no ties to that place.
Right.
At all. Why am I doing the talking? The people on the board should be talking. The rabbis and anybody else who knew about this and tried to hide it, they should all resign right now.
I'll tell you the part that, again, the other part was, how many publications actually talked about the arrest or the story at all? Have there been? I mean, I don't know. I think I remember 2 publications outside of the Hartford area that covered the story. I don't know of many.
I can't even tell you. And if they covered it, it had to be very minimal. And just to repeat again, and you know what? Not that I want to pat you and me on the back, but this just shows you the cover up. This is the part I want you to pay attention. When me and Reese talked about it on a Friday, that very night was the first email that went out to the parents of Solomon Schechter, trying to now backtrack and say why he was, the teacher was first on administrative leave because he had a baby, but he went on administrative leave when the baby was like 7 or 8 weeks old. I got all that information. Nobody goes on paternity leave like 2 months after the baby's born.
Right.
I mean, it was just like, you could see them just trying to backtrack and say, well,
twisting themselves.
No, you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing.
Yeah, they were twisting themselves in a pretzel to cover their own hides, which again, it goes exactly. Look, you and I have covered this kind of stuff enough in the 2 years that I've been here, and it always seems to be the same case. It's covering up for themselves at the risk of endangering children, and I don't get it. I don't know if Connecticut is isolated too, but I'm starting to see a growing sentiment of that.
I'm just going to say one thing before I go, and only because my father is always in my heart and in my mind almost daily. And I think about what he would have done. We're talking about a guy who left his house at 15, was in the Merchant Marines at 16. He was a man's man. Where are the men?
Yeah.
You men got to come out of the shadows. I don't even know how you produce children. How do you silence you fathers out there? Because if this was my child, I God forbid. That's all I could say.
Yeah, you know what?
But
And that was another.
let's set this. Yeah.
Can I say this? This is important. I'll let you go, but I got to say this. This was an important thing in my conversations about this. A little known factor in all of this was allegedly these sort of crimes, if you will. When you look at the makeup of the individuals that are being abused, they tend overwhelmingly to be fatherless children. And that I thought was an interesting statistic.
Yeah, you're right. And statistics sometimes matter. You can skew numbers, but some numbers are real, and you can't cook them.
Yeah.
Some numbers are there that you can't fudge.
Yeah.
But let's let Tim from Hamden jump in on the Trump grading system.
Not gonna happen.
Can't wait to hear what he says.
Not gonna happen. He's
right,
never even gonna stay away.
Right,
Thank you,
thanks,
boss
brother.
man. I appreciate you. You got it. I've only got 2 minutes left. I'll promise you I'll save them for the top of the hour. I still haven't gone to the stupidest thing I read today, which is, of course, this story about a Detroit woman. This is the new one. Detroit woman is going to be deported. We'll talk about that. And it's an interesting way the article was written in the Associated Press. We'll get to that as well, plus your phone call. So sit tight. we'll do that. What was the other thing that I had to do? Oh, yes, please remember, peanut butter and jelly time. That is, get yourself a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the folks at Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. There are 2 days left, today and tomorrow. If you get that Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you will then afford them $1 for every purchase to go to the Friendly Hands Food Bank. It ends this month of April. I cannot believe we're on the 20. Are we on the 28th? Okay, so yeah, we have until. I'm sorry, I thought it was. Is it 2 days? It's the 30th, right?
Tomorrow's the 30th. It's over.
So tomorrow is the 30th? Oh, it is the 29th. That's right. It is tomorrow. I thought today was the 28th. Yes, so tomorrow the 30th. Tomorrow is the last day. So today and tomorrow to help us out. And I hope, I really do, I believe a lot of you did help out. I know you did, and I appreciate you for that. And if it looks good to the folks at Between Rounds, they'll do it again and get more and more people out there to help charity. Because, you know, it's all about giving. That's what we do here at Reese on the Radio. As well. There's nothing else. I did have another story that I need to get into, but we'll talk about that, of course, at the 5 o'clock hour, plus your phone calls. Last but not least, caller of the day. Make sure that we get them on the line. Also, go to reeseontheradio.com, REESE on the radio.com. Here's what I need you to do. Underneath the YouTube video that's there, it'll say, give us your comments or send us your comments. What I'm looking for is for you to tell me how you listen to the program. Whether it's on WTIC, whether or not it's on 1080 on your radio dial, if you watch on YouTube or any of the social media or on the Odyssey app. I want you to tell me, if you could, just go to reeseontheradio.com, go to our comment section, and just type in your name. It is unscientific. I just want to hear from you. How do you get the Reese on the Radio program? If you want to expand that to how you get WTIC overall, you could do that too. But in particular, how you get the Reese on the Radio program. It's an unscientific survey that I'm doing, but I hope that you will partake. All right? ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Now let's get into another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing out there, Mark?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, we're still dealing with a big issue 9 northbound, and that is between exit 32 and 34. That puts it on the Berlin, New Britain line. Remains of an accident and vehicle fire there, and you've got delays right now from 30 in Cromwell up to between 32 and 34. Only the right shoulder gets by right now. Now, if you're traveling on the southbound side of Route 9, look for some slow traffic as you move between 35 and exit 33 in Berlin. Southbound 91, Hartford delays 34 down to 32 A and B. You'll see more slow traffic approaching 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Looks good 91 northbound, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 84 westbound delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound locked up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. If you're 2 westbound, you're going to see some delays moving up by exit 4A. And in Glastonbury, and again, some slow traffic from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. If you're traveling 291 eastbound, that's slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. In Middletown, you've got delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge on 9 North. Heading over to Waterbury, slowing as you approach the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, a little tight in Cheshire, moving up on the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound Newtown slowing 10 to 11. Overturned motor vehicle accident in West Haven right now, and that's between exit 41 and 42. Right lane out, overturned motor vehicle accident there. Delays back to 40. Southbound 95 slows 46 down to 42, rubbernecking at that northbound issue. Traffic and weather together on the 8s WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, sunshine mixing with some clouds. It'll be breezy and very warm. The high moving up to 80 degrees. Tonight, remaining mostly cloudy and mild, though we can't completely rule out a shower. The low down to 60. On Wednesday, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and quite pleasant. The high of 71 midweek. And another nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds. The high back up to 70. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, 74 degrees, partly sunny skies in Hartford. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. 18 years in prison for the driver who ran over and killed Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier last May. Alex Oyola Sanchez reached a plea deal with the state back in February on a first-degree manslaughter charge.
No sentence will bring our brother Aaron back.
That's State Police Union President Todd Fettigan, who says they will continue to support the trooper's widow, Dominique, and the couple's 2 young sons.
We will always look after them and take care and make Aaron proud.
Oyola Sanchez, who police say admitted to taking drugs before getting behind the wheel, ran over Pelletier while he was on the job in Southington on Interstate 84 last May. The suspect drove off, but a Good Samaritan followed him until his vehicle broke down and police could arrive to place him under arrest. For his 100th day in office for his second term, President Trump's in the state where he made his closing argument in the 2024 election, Michigan. He's expected to bring with him news on easing some auto tariffs.
The big 3 automakers and anyone that produces automobiles in this country, could be BMW, Volkswagen, what have you, will benefit from this and are cheering the decision designed to give a little more relief and perhaps assuage the concerns of people about how tariffs could potentially upend the economy.
That's correspondent Ed O'Keefe back here, leading state Democrats giving the Trump 100 days the thumbs down. They held a news conference at the Capitol citing budget cuts, civil rights setbacks, and the economic cost of the Trump tariffs. State Treasurer Eric Russell says the president's focused on enriching himself and his friends.
Dinners for whoever invests most in his latest meme coin, or it is tipping off his billionaire friends before he pauses tariffs and watches the market jump. And meanwhile, working people are struggling to figure out how they're going to make ends meet.
Governor Lamont says the president's policies target key programs such as school lunches and Medicaid. Attorney General William Tong says the country's in a constitutional crisis. House Republican leader Vin Candelora says Democrats are guilty of manufacturing outrage about affordability and fiscal responsibility. First accuser has taken the stand in the retrial of disgraced film mogul Harvey Weinstein.
Miriam Haley is the first of 3 accusers expected to testify at trial and says she met Harvey Weinstein at the Cannes Film Festival in 2006, then says 2 months later he assaulted her in New York. She says he commented on her legs and suggested massages, but that she refused his advances and left in tears.
Do you guys just not want to go to the website?
Is expected back on the stand Wednesday and has yet to be asked about.
What happened?
No, I'm talking to the chat room.
Oh, all right.
The Matt Piper in Manhattan. It's a solemn day in Israel today. Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
As a siren sounded to mark the beginning of Israel's Memorial Day, the country came to a standstill. All restaurants and places of entertainment are closed, and ceremonies will be held at military cemeteries around the country. The Defense Ministry said that 319 soldiers have been killed since last Memorial Day as the war with Hamas in Gaza continues.
The Alzheimer's Association's out with its 2025 report on Americans living with the disease. Connecticut chapter spokeswoman Kristen Cusato says the national statistic is up from 6.9 million in 2024.
There are now 7.2 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. Here in Connecticut, still about 80,000 people living with Alzheimer's disease over the age of 65 in Connecticut. Caregivers, about 130 to 150,000 of them.
And of those caregivers, most are family members who give a collective 205 million unpaid hours of care. More information available at alz.org/facts. On Wall Street, the Dow gained 300 points today. The Nasdaq was up 95 and the S&P was up 32 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health.
1 minute.
Erectile dysfunction treatments are
Yes,
shown
sir.
to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult.
And 10.
advised to test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Apparently, I wasn't clear enough. Okay, so go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com, and just scroll down to where it says send us a message. Right there. Just let us know where you listen or watch Reese on the Radio. That's all. If you listen on WTIC 1080 in your car radio, or even a transistor radio at on your desk, whatever the case is, just let us know. Go to Reese on the Radio, scroll down, go to send us a message. It's right there. Okay? And it's just above where the podcast is. You can't miss it. It says name, email, and then message. And you can just send it, and we'll get it. Okay, with that. Also, it's time for...
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
To tell you how dishonest the news media is, and remember yesterday when I told you the difference between reporters and journalists, or even a columnist for that matter, but reporters and journalists. Reporters just repeat what they're told to repeat. Headline. This was an actual headline. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and neither will you. Let me see if I find it here so we can pop it up on the screen so you can see it. I want to read it myself, and that should be it right there. Here it is. Headline reads from the Associated Press. A wrong turn onto a bridge at the U.S.-Canada border has a Detroit woman facing deportation. That's what it says. Here's the first paragraph from the report written by Corey Williams. Detroit. A woman from Guatemala says she and her 2 U.S.-born children were held for nearly a week by customs agents in Detroit. She's not a Detroit woman. She's from Guatemala. Stupid. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. A Detroit woman from Guatemala. I didn't know there was a Detroit, Guatemala.
I better brush up on my geography.
Indeed. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Right. Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you are traveling right now on 9 northbound, got some good news. Looks like that accident has cleared 9 northbound between 32 and 34. Look for delays back to exit 30 behind that, but that should start to open up now. Southbound Route 9 a little slow between 35 and 33 as you head into Berlin. Heading into Hartford, southbound 91, looking at delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28. And you'll slow again as you move by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. More slow traffic approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91 looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound's a little slow coming off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you are heading to westbound, some slow traffic by exit 4A in Glastonbury. Again, from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. If you're traveling into Middletown, just a slight slowdown, 9 southbound at the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury right now, 84 westbound, a little tight by exit 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little slow in Cheshire heading down toward the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound in Newtown, look for slow traffic now from exit 10 up to exit 11. Now, if you're traveling 95 northbound in West Haven, we have an overturned motor vehicle accident between 41 and 42. Right lane is out there, delays back to exit 39A in Milford behind that. So you're going to want to stay to the left there. Also delays southbound 95 from 46 down to 42, rubbernecking at that northbound issue. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, for tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild. Can't rule out a shower. The low down to 55. Sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, not as warm, but pleasant for us on our Wednesday, the high of 70. Thursday, a blend of sun and clouds, the high back to 70. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail and flooding downpours, the high 78. Couple of showers Saturday, mainly later, the high of 75. Right now, it's 73 in Meriden, 75 Bristol, and 73 Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Joe the Plumber, we stand behind all our residential work, except maybe toilets.
I mean, we do great work on toilets, but toilets are right up against the wall, so they're kind of hard to stand behind, you know? Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to NordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, New Nordic.
We live in financially tough times. High grocery prices, high utility bills, and now the worry of tariffs and high car prices. That's why it makes sense to take advantage of outlet pricing. Buy your Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford and save hundreds, even thousands over other area Subaru dealers. Over 400 tariff-free Subarus are on sale at up to $4,000 off MSRP. Get a brand new tariff-free Forester for only $28,695 or lease for only $259 a month. Crosstreks lease for only $229 a month, plus huge selection of tariff-free Outbacks and Ascents all on sale. And with 0% financing on select new Subarus, you're guaranteed to save even more. Plus, every new Subaru at the Bertera Subaru outlet comes with a complimentary 100,000-mile warranty. So do what makes sense and buy your tariff-free Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford, exit 33 off I-91 at the corner of Weston and Jennings, or online at BerteraMotors.com. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
$5,000. That's
1 minute.
People in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift. And on other brands, just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Ralph is in South Carolina. Thank you for holding for me, Ralph. I know I usually get to you guys at the beginning of the hour, but I'm trying to change it up just a little bit. How you doing, buddy?
Hanging in there. A couple things. First of all, you and I talked before about the biggest fear that the liberals and progressive have is people like you with a brain. You scare the living hell out of them, and the reason for that is you can think for yourself, and they don't like that. They want to be able to tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it.
I think what they're asking me to do sometimes, I think it just goes against my moral compass, if you get my meaning. I just can't do half the stuff they're asking me to do.
Well, another thing, too, Reese, with these judges and this kind of, you look at what's going on with the judges. Now, the judge, and I believe it was at Minnesota.
This is Milwaukee.
The judge and the no, this was the other one. In Minnesota, where the guy did a job on 6 Teslas, cost $20,000.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that was in Tim Walz's state. Yes,
right. Now, they did not charge him. Correct?
That's correct. They believe in restorative justice in the sense of paying for it in fines.
Okay, so if I went there and I smashed every window in the judge's car and the prosecutor's car, and I had a screwdriver or whatever can opener and scratched the heck out of their cars, I would not be charged, and they just let me walk, correct?
I would assume as much.
That's the precedent they just set.
That's correct. But we also have word, interestingly enough, there's also another story with that prosecutor where an inter-office memo went around saying that she had new sentencing guidelines for people of color.
If I'm not mistaken, that is against the law.
Yeah.
Or is it not?
Yeah, that's where we are today.
I mean, it's hard to believe. It really is hard to believe, Reese.
I don't think
what's
so.
going on
Come on, you
the
can't
court.
listen. This is the scary part, and again, I'm gonna preface this because White Mike is on hold, and this is a good point. Listen, White Mike calls here every day, and when he starts talking about this sort of reversal or this restorative justice that happens, right? When he starts talking about, look, I'm getting a little sick and tired of, there being special privileges for protected class citizens, in most cases, predominantly black folks who are allowed to sort of skirt the law, where they're being absolutely overhanded when it comes to whites. It's never the same, equal justice under the law. When Mike says stuff like that, immediately people cringe because that's supposed to be unheard of. It's supposed to be, you're not supposed to be allowed to say that because it
Tell him
makes
to turn
people
his radio down.
Yeah, you got to turn your radio down, Ralph. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable when you say it.
I'm having a radio on.
Yeah, you got to turn that down.
I don't have a radio on.
Oh, okay. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's our point. Speaking of him, let me get to his call now. Let's go to White Mike. You get my point about this, right? It's like this is what's happening in Milwaukee not Milwaukee. I apologize. In Minnesota, with this district attorney. In essence, she's saying, look, if the person is black or brown, we're supposed to be considerate of that come sentencing. If the person is white, we can throw the book at them, and no one's supposed to bat an eye. Should you open your mouth about it, you're going to appear to be racist, bigoted, or prejudiced in some way because you know what? You had it coming. You were just born in the wrong skin color.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm of the mindset to throw the book at everybody. And I think that if cops were I had a thought, actually. I was going to talk about something else, but you put me in a direction here.
No, I'll get to your point. I'll get to the point to Chad. I just wanted to interject it.
This will be entertaining.
Okay.
I think that we should adopt a corporal punishment model a la Singapore for a lot of minor non-violent crimes.
Okay, so was that caning? Is that caning?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you catch some little dude, I don't know, shoplifting from the bodega.
Right.
He's stealing backwoods or jungle juice, whatever they steal.
And they always steal more than that anyway. So it's never one offshoot. Like they don't grab a stick of gum anymore.
Yeah. Instead of dealing with this guy in the juvenile system or putting him in jail, why don't we just tie him to a pole and hit him with a wet cane stick like 6 times on his ass?
That's what they did. Again, do you remember that back in the day, the guy who wrote graffiti? Yeah. And he was supposed to.
He was stealing street signs.
Yes, he was stealing street signs. Originally, he was supposed to get 13 whacks, I believe it was, right? And it was reduced. Like the State Department because they refused. Singapore says, look, this guy isn't walking away without a whack. Like it's not happening. We have to set a precedent here. And he's getting whacked whether you like it or not. We are not letting him get away with the law. We're not going to give the impression that if Americans come into our country, they're not going to get the corporal punishment. So they reduced it. I think it was 7. Somebody have to look that up.
Yeah, but you know what he didn't do again was steal street signs. Every time he sat down for the next year, he thought stealing's bad. So we should do that. I also think that the Muslims have the right idea when they cut the hands off of thieves.
That's a little much. You don't think that's a bit much?
Do you know why they do that?
I'm assuming so they don't steal again because they don't have hands.
No, the reason they do that is, in the Muslim world, they eat with their hands.
Oh,
and they tend to eat communally, right? So Muslim people also do not use toilet paper.
Oh, come on. I do know that, but you don't have to say that. Everybody's grossed out now.
There are 2 hands, and the left hand is used for hygiene. The right hand is used for eating out of the communal pot.
Correct.
Well, if you have no left hand, then you clearly use your right hand for hygiene, and you're a social pariah. So it's not just that they don't steal it, so they can't function in society. They're basically outcasts because nobody's letting you put the dookie paw in the couscous.
You said it was going to be entertaining. You never disappoint.
And your boy Mark in Hartford brought up the Solomon Schechter case.
Yeah.
Was that Solomon Schechter in Long Island?
No. This is the one in West Hartford.
Well, then it's a pattern because the Times of Israel has a huge story from like 3 years ago about their guidance counselor, I guess his last name was Hirsch, who some 50-year-old kid came to him and said another school employee spanked the monkey in front of him.
Oh, no.
And wanted him to do it. And when this kid told Hirsch's response was, well, keep me informed of what he does, and didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
So then this Hirsch guy finally he resigned after like a big cover-up. He's allowed to resign. Then he founded some educational service that he found an LLC for, and the school started paying a salary to that LLC, that educational service, that turned out it was Hirsch, who had been accused of inappropriate relationships with boys like 3 or 4 times in the past.
Wow.
And then
forward me the link to that story. That's an interesting.
I will. At Times of Israel.
Yeah, please.
So apparently it's a pattern.
Yeah, apparently this is not isolated.
Was the head of students or the director of the school sent out an email, basically that whole thing about crying out in pain as they hit you, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Where he said, this is just angry people making up stuff, and we want to, support traditional Jewish values. And I'm thinking, that's kind of not far from traditional Jewish values, pal. you guys run the porn industry. I mean, you don't have a moral high ground to stand on, pal.
You are so done. You are so done. God bless you. Get out of here. Goodbye. He's got to make it uncomfortable. He just does. That's just what he does. God bless him, but he's always got to make it uncomfortable. Lunatic. Let's go to Aaron in Goshen. How we doing, Aaron?
Are you going to come to me after that call? Holy cow.
I'm sorry, buddy. I apologize.
I lost my whole train of thought, man.
See, this is why you should never listen intently when White Mike is on. You got to stay focused.
Oh, God. So the subject matter completely changed. But anyway, regardless, I just look at the hypocrisy with the Democrats, right? Or just how stupid their base is. I'm just going to say it that way because they obviously know that. During the Biden administration, we don't have a recession because we just changed the definition of what that is. It's not 2 quarters, it's 4 quarters. It's a whole year it has to be down for it to be a recession, right? Because we never had one of those during. Now Trump takes office and, oh, my God, it's the end of the world. The cost of living is ridiculous. It's like, where were you guys with stagflation, hyperinflation, and how the cost of living went up exponentially? I would say at least 30%.
It was actually 40, but it was crazy.
And now all of a sudden it's like, no. Trump is destroying this country. It's too expensive to live here. It's like, I get it. They're just delusional, and they just keep feeding the delusional base, and at a certain point, some people have to wake up. At least I think some people are starting to wake up.
I don't think. Listen, I'll tell you this, Aaron. Look, being disingenuous is what it takes in order to be a Democrat. Here's why, and I'll give you a perfect example. You brought it up yourself. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. A big example of what we showed yesterday was when it comes to the president of the United States, what did they tell us? No man is above the law. It's all they stood by. It was over and over again. No one was above the law. We all have to pay. Here's Andrew Weissman, a former federal attorney, talking about Donald Trump in one breath about, it's the rule of law. Everybody's got to be held accountable. When the judge gets arrested, all of a sudden, you don't do this. It's bad form. It shouldn't be done. Here he is right here.
Constitutional crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Here he is.
He's being treated no better or worse than anyone else. This is not selective prosecution. That this is not somebody who's singled out, that he is being treated just like anyone else. That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what the Justice Department is really signaling and messaging here, is that everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally in this country. This is really a great day for America. So there has been a violation here that we know for sure.
Now it's a violation when it comes to Judge Dugan. Nobody even knows this woman. We're talking about a former president versus some judge.
Well, and actually, somebody actually did break the law. Somebody was harmed.
Exactly.
There was wrongdoing that took place. This isn't somebody borrowing money that he was approved for.
Yeah. Yeah. How about this one? Aaron, try this one.
The value of the loan.
Aaron,
he's getting paid it back.
Did you hear me play this yesterday? You know, of all guys.
I wasn't listening.
Okay, all guys in the world who would have a problem with intimidating judges, right? This guy talking about Trump intimidating judges came out of the fold and said this.
They're trying to intimidate judges. This is not the first time or the second. They've said they want to impeach judges. They said they're going to go after judges who don't agree with them. That is so against the Constitution.
That was Chuck Schumer.
Didn't Chucky Schumer say, if you mess with the FBI or the CIA, they have a million ways Sunday to make your life difficult?
How about this? Forget about that.
He made to Trump.
What about this? Forget about that. He says, talk about intimidating judges if they don't go your way. The most famous speech he gave.
Fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Talk about intimidating judges. Like, what? I couldn't believe it when I heard it. I was like,
that is definition. That is.
So
you look it up. That clip should be right there.
Yeah, exactly. So when I hear this, when I hear people talk about it, it's like they're hypocrite. No. This is purposeful. They don't believe the rules should apply to them or what they believe. It only applies to others. That's what it is. It's arrogance, pure arrogance. That's all. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got it. That's all that is. It's absolute arrogance. They know what the deal is. It's not about, having to tell them that they're hypocrites. That's kind of in it's kind of in the glossary. That's motive operandi. That's it. Let's take another break. Let's get the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. And after that, some sluggish traffic approaching 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91's a good ride. Cromwell through Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic 44 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. If you are traveling 291 eastbound, slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound, a little slow from 1D up to the 84 West Merge in East Hartford. If you're heading toward Middletown, that looks good. 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slows from exit 32 up to exit 35 in New Britain. If you're traveling 84 westbound into Waterbury, some slow traffic 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Cheshire, a little tight approaching the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some slow traffic by 11. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic in Hamden. 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel in New Haven. Northbound Parkway slowing approaching 59 into the West Rock. 95 southbound, you've got delays from exit 46 down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound slowing from 4 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Tuesday afternoon, sunshine mixing with some clouds. It'll be breezy and very warm. The high moving up to 80 degrees. Tonight, remaining mostly cloudy and mild, though we can't completely rule out a shower, the low down to 60. On Wednesday, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and quite pleasant, the high of 71 midweek. And another nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high back up to 70. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. 18 years in prison for the man who struck a Connecticut State Police trooper with his vehicle on Interstate 84 last year and took off. Alex Oyola Sanchez copped a plea on a manslaughter charge in the death last May of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. The suspect admitted taking drugs before he got behind the wheel. Pelletier's wife and his police brothers and sisters or calling for more prison time. In Trumbull, a man's under arrest, charged in the death of a woman he allegedly struck with a baseball bat on Monday. Detectives say the attack was domestic in nature. They received several 911 calls to the 10 Trumbull complex. Yili Shto Paco is facing charges now. He confronted several women, hit one 70-year-old who died. He's charged with murder. UPS has announced it's cutting 20,000 jobs this year. Delivery giant also planning to close 73 of its outlets by the end of June. The White House says President Trump is signing an executive order to relax some of his 25% tariffs on autos and auto parts. He is in Michigan for a rally about to get underway. Man who broke into a gun store in Newington 2 years ago and stole over 3 dozen firearms has been sentenced. Fitzpatrick Defani gets 9 years in prison. Prosecutors say he cut his way into the Hoffman gun store back in May of 2023. And Alex Caravan is coming back to UConn. The redshirt senior made the announcement on social media today. Caravan says he wants another crack at a third NCAA championship next season. Markets finished in positive territory today. The Dow was up 300, NASDAQ gained 95, S&P up 32 points. Baseball on the radio tonight. The Red Sox and Toronto begin a series north of the border. 6:07 the pregame here. Yanks continue their series in Baltimore against the Orioles. Mets are hosting Arizona. Eastern League, the Argots open a homestand against Chesapeake. And the NBA playoffs tonight, Celtics host Orlando. They lead that series 3-1. And the Knicks will try to send Detroit packing tonight when they host the Pistons at the Garden. New York leads that series 3-1. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. SwishRadio.com, code RADIO.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hi, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil.
1 minute.
In 180 weight loss. He just finished up week 11. Phil, how did it go?
Lost 4.4 pounds this past week. I'm down, I wish I could round up. I'm down 59.8 pounds.
Wow, you are unstoppable, Phil. Congratulations.
Thank you. Success breeds success, I think, Tom.
So how are all the other numbers, all the other stuff they check?
I went down a full point in visceral, which is always, they say, if you can lose 1 point in 2 weeks, that's good. So I did a full 1 point this week. Right now, my visceral rating is 16, and they want it to be between 12 and 13. So I'm getting close.
And that's great. And that's the stuff, that's the fat that surrounds your organs. So we want that gone. And it will be gone as Phil lives his best life with Awaken 180 weight loss. There are thousands of stories just like Phil's, and yours can be one of them. Call him today at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, it's former morning news anchor Angela Dias. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Of course, I am Reese on the Radio. Don't forget, you can always go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com, so that you can check out the show immediately after. Well, not immediately after, roughly about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. The show is there, so you can always go there to check out the show. I know it's not officially on the Odyssey app yet. Actually, the beauty of it is, and in fact, yeah, you can still download the Odyssey app. Now, just realize that. So what happens is, if you're looking for Reese on the Radio on the Odyssey app, you can go to the Odyssey app and look up Reese on the Radio. My usual Sunday show, the podcast, shows up there, right? So whenever you want to hear it, you be on the Odyssey app, go to Reese on the Radio. It airs right there. And it's there. No matter what, it's there at 1 o'clock. Even if the Red Sox are on, it's there at 1 o'clock, and then it airs, if it's Red Sox on at 1 o'clock, it airs at 6, you can listen to it live. Nonetheless, it's there. Go to the Odyssey app, Reese On The Radio podcast is there. Now you can go to that same place and you can catch this show immediately after, or at least an hour and a half after, with limited commercial interruption. Okay? As you would any other time. And I don't think that we haven't officially started loading it on, like we don't have a page yet, Roland, do we? Not yet. We still
have what?
We don't have a Reese On The Radio page yet. Okay, we're still working on that. And as soon as that gets done, we'll let everybody know. So, you can, because I get a lot of that. I said emails, text message all the time. It's like, Reese, I want to get Reese On The Radio because I don't get to listen during the day. I want to listen afterwards. And we love that. And of course, that we totally get that. So that's why I started doing it, so you can still get it on the Odyssey app. So just go to Reese On The Radio on Odyssey. You will find it there, and just, favorite it, or I think you can hit the bell for alerts. You get it there. If you want to watch it as well, you can go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com after the fact, which is why I'm saying go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com and let me know how you view the show, whether you listen to it on the radio, regular radio, traditional radio, whether or not you listen to it on the app, whether or not you listen to it online at WTIC.com, if you go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, or watch it on Facebook or X or any of those. Again, it's unscientific, but I want to hear from you. So just go to Reese On The Radio, REESE, on the radio.com, and let us know so that you can help us out. We appreciate that because we want to make this experience. We want to, at least in my view, I want to make the show for you in a way that you can receive it. That's the best way to put it. That's all I can. And tell me if you want me to incorporate Roland. Okay, he's a little shy. I don't know why, but, somebody who's been in the hip-hop game, who goes out there and he competes, in the bowling circuit. I don't understand how he's shy, but he's very, he's kind of to himself, very reserved. Of all the people I've been, crying out loud, the guy's got an Emmy. You'd think he'd be all over the place, like, mugging for the camera, You think he'd be like that, but he's just so... I'm the rambunctious one. He's very subdued and to himself. I don't understand that. I've never understood that. I've never been that way since I was a child. I've always been outlandish. Anyway, let's get a check on the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, as a DJ, you've got to be sort of, outgoing. Are you the kind of guy that shouts, we don't need no water, let the mother?
No.
You're not that guy? You're not like on the microphone during the thing?
I interject when there needs to be some interjection, but I'm not talking after every record.
Yeah, you don't do any of that. Come on, please tell me that you do one of my favorite things that DJs do.
Okay.
You do that.
Oh, hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
I knew, while you're figuring it out, let me tell you this great story. We knew this guy who was at a wedding, who was a DJ at the wedding. And during every speech, when the parents are speaking to the best man speech and then the maid of honor speech and all that stuff, the father gave this heartwarming speech that had every person in the room with wet eyes. And the DJ immediately, when he finishes the speech, the DJ goes, wah, 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 give it up for Dad.
Oh, yeah. You get the horn, huh?
I love it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't generally do that.
You don't do the point where...
I let the bride and groom be the stars, but, I'll jump in if I have to. If the crowd wants to interact more, I'll interact more. If they don't, I'm not going to...
So you don't force it?
No, I'm not the guy that's going to be yelling and screaming between each record.
Every time I've ever DJ'd a wedding, they always ask me to MC it. Always. Because I'm a radio guy. So they go, yeah, we're going to need you to MC it because we don't have anybody to speak.
I remember for me, the transition was hard going from working in a bar to a wedding, because during the cocktail hour and the dinner, it's kind of mellow.
Yeah.
Where in a bar, it's always intense, so I had to kind of learn to...
slow it down.
Yeah, okay, take the intensity back a little bit. So Yeah, it's all. You know what? It all comes down to reading the crowd. You
That's
can't read
it.
the room. You ain't gonna be successful.
Indeed.
That's how it works. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you are traveling into Middletown right now, 91 southbound a little slow, 20 down to 19 in Meriden. Northbound 91 easy ride, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is slowing as you approach the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic. About just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the Bulkley Bridge. 291 eastbound is a little slow. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound slows exit 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you are heading into Middletown, 9 south, a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling 9 northbound, you'll see some slow traffic. 31 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. 84 westbound Waterbury slowing at the Mixmaster. If you're heading down on the Parkway, southbound Parkway delays 61 down to 60 in Hamden. Northbound Parkway slowing, approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven's tight, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound delays 3 in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It's been a beautiful day, mainly cloudy as we head through the overnight, breezy and mild. Can't completely rule out a shower. The low down to 55, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy. Not as warm for us as we head through Wednesday, but still very pleasant, the high of 70. Another nice day Thursday with sunny clouds, the high back to 70. Friday going to be active, though, with some showers and thunderstorms. Could be strong to severe and bring some localized damage. Wind gust, hail, and flooding downpours, the high 78. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers around, mainly late in the day, still 75. Then partly sunny, cooler but mild on Sunday with the high of 66. Right now, again, cooler along the shore. New London's down to 59. It's 67 in New Haven. Bridgeport at 67. 71 for Waterbury, 75 Danbury, and 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super efficient triple pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Need dental implants? Columbia Dental's prosthodontic experts specialize in placing and restoring implants for a natural, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code HOOP5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck, if you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley. Timeshare Exit Kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You
know who it is.
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, I know we usually get the usuals who call in, but I want the newcomers. I know the folks who don't normally call. Get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'd like to give away a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Here's your opportunity at the end of the show. Usually the lines are wide open, and they do it at the end of the show. I would, normally I would give it out at any other time during the show and randomly could, give it whenever, but they want to do it the last caller of the day, so we call it the last but not least caller of the day. So call up. You don't have to opine about anything. I know some people are nervous. They don't want their bosses to know that they listen to a conservative talk show. I'm kidding. But in the event that you do, don't worry about that. We'll keep you anonymous. Just give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And you can do that in the next 10, 15 minutes. We'll find you, and we'll make sure that you can get one. We'll get you a shout-out, and two, we'll get you a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. Tomorrow's show, let me just give you an update. Attorney General Tong is suing the Trump administration again. Again. Wow. Again. This is so crazy. None of this stuff is working. As you heard me play earlier, CNN, Breonna Keller, just again, and you look on the people's face in the newsroom, like how distraught they are with all of the efforts that they made, reporting ad nauseum about how horrible the Trump administration is. And the numbers for Democrats continue to go down. Why? Because of garbage like this.
God will build this world from love.
People are laughing at them. This was, again, at the steps of the Capitol. And they were just hanging out like on the stoop. Hakeem Jeffries sitting there looking like a Run DMC roadie. Cory Booker looking like, I don't know, a half-broke TD Jakes. What is the deal? And they're sitting on the stoop. And they have what I can only assume is some rabbi with a rainbow cloth across him, and he's singing in front of, hear this?
If we build this world from love, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da, then God will be...
Nobody knows the words. Nobody knows the words. You can't sing a song where no one knows the words and have a call and response. You see Hakeem Jeffries sitting there going, what have I got myself into? This is embarrassing. This isn't working. All the money that's being spent, standing in front of Tesla dealerships, in front of City Hall, holding protests for 2-3 hours, paying people $25 an hour. And the numbers for Democrats are going down. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump's poll numbers on the economy are 33%. Democrats are at 27%. That's not a flex. It's not a flex. And it's not like everyone knows that the numbers are duped. Like the numbers are completely fudged. It's not like no one knows. That, you know what? That's what I would say. It should be YMCA. What I want is, I just want people, at least on the left, if Donald Trump is doing that poorly on the economy, why aren't they seizing on that? Why aren't they seizing on that? But there's nothing. Instead, it's protest about, and this is another thing. This is another thing. If you can all do a little bit of homework for me, just really, really, it's a still simple thing. If you know someone who believes that we are at a constitutional crisis, if you are listening to my voice and you believe that we are at a constitutional crisis, I only want one thing, and you can send it to me on Facebook, send it to me anywhere. Please explain to me what the constitutional crisis is in detail. Like, what exactly is the constitutional crisis? Okay? It can't be as simple as it's going to be windy tomorrow. How windy is it going to be? Oh, no, just windy. Well, I mean, we're going to have wind gusts of 70 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour. Oh, no, just windy. Should we go outside? Would it be absolutely dangerous to go outside and maybe go for a walk because things will be flying through the air? Or it'll just be difficult to, I don't know, take out the garbage because, the garbage can may actually float away. How serious are we talking? Oh, no, just windy. Just tell me what the constitutional crisis is. Stop saying that it's a constitutional crisis and tell me exactly what it is. But no one can. And I'm hearing this William Tong say the same nonsense. By the way, Republicans who listen to this show, if you could, when you speak to the news media, please say this in your response. When you hear Murphy, when you hear Lamont, Blumenthal, anybody, Tong, talk about a constitutional crisis, Republicans, when you get on camera and they ask you about it, please say to the reporter, yeah, I don't know what the constitutional crisis is. They never seem to specify. Can you? And watch everybody go, you got to push back. Don't just let them say constitutional. Just say, exactly what is the constitutional crisis? I hear that a lot, News Channel 8. I hear that a lot, WFSB. The constitutional crisis seems to be repeated over and over again by Democrats, but I don't hear with any specificity what it is. Can you explain? Have you asked? And watch, all of a sudden, that will go away. It'll be dead. They'll stop using the term. No one ever thought to ask. I ask all the time. To the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC. Steve's in Waterbury. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Reese. Got two quick disc jockey tips. I do like Roland to probably jump in a little bit more because we do hear him on Facebook.
Exactly.
And, I think he can add a lot to the show. But my two disc jockey tips, I also want to talk about the Capitol there in a second. But what we used to do is we used to play old-type music for, like, the real older people generation. We used to keep it down low during the dinner time.
Right.
So instead of them saying, can you please turn that down, it's too loud, they used to come up and say, hey, there's some good music, can you please turn it up? And then we point to the gentleman and say, hey, we got a request to make this a little bit louder here. And then every now and then, if we didn't do that and somebody complained, we'd say, okay, we'll turn it down a little bit. We'd pretend to turn it down. How's that going? Is that better? Oh, yeah, that's good.
That is a good tip. Everything I've ever DJ'd that had an older crowd to it, I found out, and it's funny, you're 100% right, and you're on point. Play the music from their generation, and Motown is the way to go. Motown is always, you can't go wrong. If you have an older generation, start playing some Smokey Robinson, start playing some Miracles, all of a sudden, the Four Tops, you can't go wrong. They will be like, in fact, they'll tell you, no, you can turn that up. They immediately change their mind. So,
and you watch their feet tap along.
Exactly.
With the music as, kind of going. But before I finish,
yes, the Capitol.
I think Mel Brooks could make a great music call out of the Capitol. I think we could call it Stoops on the Stoop.
Stoops on the Stoop. Wasn't that insane? Wasn't that insane to watch? Like, I didn't get it. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful afternoon. And you're sitting on the stoop, I don't know, talking to each other about, again, constitutional crises, and I don't know what that means. Like, and no one even bothers to ask. Like, not one person, even the people on their side, they just repeat it. Just go, constitutional crisis. Here's Tim right now in the chat room. He says, I would explain the Constitution, but you don't go to college. Okay, Tim, I didn't ask you to explain the Constitution. I asked you to explain the constitutional crisis. And again, what do? You deflect. You obviously can't answer the question. What's the constitutional crisis? That's all I'm saying, Steve.
As if they even know the Constitution.
Indeed. And by the way, just so we understand each other, and I love doing this on the air because it's really, really simple. I keep a pocket Constitution sitting on my shelf here. In fact, I think it's here. It might be on top of my shelf. But I keep one behind me for the specific reason of that nonsense. It's like I keep one behind me all day, every day. So there you go. Steve, thank you, sir.
Awesome.
And great tip on the DJ thing. You're 100% right on that. Thank you, buddy. That's, again, now I understand that. Is Lisa in Hartford trying to call him, but she keeps getting kicked off? Lisa, try one more time.
No, she's just hanging up.
Oh, is that what she's doing?
Yeah, she probably just thinks.
She's probably in the middle of work trying to sneak in a phone call while the boss isn't looking. She goes, I want to win those bagels, but the boss keeps walking by. She's probably trying not to get in trouble. Lisa, don't worry. You won't get in trouble. Just tell your boss you're listening to Reese on the Radio. Your boss likes me. Trust me. I know this. I know this without a doubt. All right, so tomorrow, William Tong, again, suing. Again, what he's suing about is even funnier. I know the organization that he's suing. It's AmeriCorps. Do you remember them? Please tell me you know something about them, Roland. Or do you? What was the other one? Job Corps?
I know about Job Corps.
You know Job Corps, right? Okay, AmeriCorps is a little different. This is a Clinton advent back in the 90s, AmeriCorps. I think it was something else before then, and then they changed it to AmeriCorps. I dated a girl who was actually a counselor for AmeriCorps, but that was during the Clinton era of our government. But yeah, he's suing about AmeriCorps. I don't even think anybody even follows AmeriCorps anymore. But that's what he's doing. Also, stay tuned because I'm going to post the interview with the Solomon Schechter teacher as well, and the accompanying article that White Mike was talking about in the Solomon Schechter School in Long Island. We'll post that on the Facebook page so you can get a hold of it. And I think, I'm looking at that number right there, just put them on hold and we'll make them the last but not least caller of the day. Looks like we got them, Joe in Hartford. Okay, Joe is in his car. All right, we will get him, the last but not least a caller, dozen bagels a month for 6 months. Thank you, Joe. Much appreciated. It's very seldom where people will call near the end of the show. They don't want to get on the phone. It's like, the show's over. And I get that. We'll get to that as well. Maybe we'll give Tim 21 hours, to explain to us exactly what the constitutional crisis is, and maybe look it up and explain to us exactly what that is. I don't think anybody knows. So Republicans, if you're listening to me, if they say it, do you think there's a constitutional crisis? Yeah. Can you explain to me what the crisis is? I don't know what it is. That's all I can say. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember, panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. I'm going to preview the movie Thunderbolts, Mark in West Hartford, and what I think, how good that movie is going to be. And then I'm going to give my assessment of the film on Monday. I know you're not going to go see it. Who am I talking to? This guy doesn't go to the movies. Good night, Mark. Mark's in the BPS Traffic Center.
Mark in West Hartford doesn't go to the movies
No,
either?
you, Mark. Mark No, Mark doesn't go to the movies. You don't go to the movies.
Okay.
What am I having this discussion with you for? You never go to the movies.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but I'm going to review it. I'm going to review the new Marvel film. All right, but have a great night.
You too, buddy. Have a great night. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, this is a little leftover traffic 91 southbound 30.
All right, good sir.
We do have an
All right,
accident
you got it, buddy.
on the Chronicle Rocky Hill line,
We'll
91
see
north
you
between
tomorrow.
22 and 23.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Hump day.
Humpy.
Way. So right shoulder block, just a little bit of a delay, rubbernecking at that after that.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Michael A. Yeah, Tim, you had all that time. Still nothing, huh? I didn't think so. Yep, we'll holler at you guys tomorrow. It is always a pleasure. I love you guys. Be good.